Good morning, all. Only 15 members have been logged in. So we'll wait for 1 more minute. Let the others also log in. Otherwise, in 1 minute, I'll just start the session. Okay. We'll just start. Okay. Uh, Fine. Today's topic is path testing. So we are moving ahead with respect to a structural type of testing. Structural testing has been explained in the previous session also. With respect to that, one technique we have just noted down, that is fault-based testing. Under that particular fault-based testing, mutation testing was one of the flavor that we have seen it with respect to your fault-based testing. Understanding it. So that comes under your white box testing or structural testing. We are taking one more particular method to solve your particular problem with respect to with respect to white box testing or structural testing. The testing name is path testing. What is this path testing? So before moving ahead, you need to know some of the terminologies like nodes, link, followed by in degree, out degree, graph, every details of it. The simple thing is basic concepts of your graph theory should be known before moving forward. That's what it says. Okay, so graph is nothing but pictorial representation of graph is nothing but it's a pictorial representation of the given data. Okay, in that two particular things will be there. Once you want to form a graph, then you need to have two particular terminologies over there. One is called as vertices, another one is called as edges set. Edges are nothing but links, that's what I said. Vertices are nothing but nodes with respect to your particular path testing concept. Understanding it? So there should not be, what is the theory behind that? Once you want to form a graph, if you want to form a graph, you need to have at least one vertex set. One vertex should be present in the vertex set, but you can have null elements, or you cannot the particular edge set can be empty. Vertex should be there, then only I can just call it as a graph. This is what the theory that we have just read it. I'm just going through it. In degree, this comes with respect to your in degree and out degree will come under with respect to one of the flavor of the graph, that is by the name called as directed graph. You have directed graph as well as undirected graph. Undirected graph, anywhere you can just move it. Directed graph, it should be having a flow of the data or flow of the particular instant. So that means directed edge should be there. So if the directed edge is there, then it will be said to be as a directed graph. That is, some arrow mark should be pointing to where it will be going to the next, which is the next node that it will be targeting to. That's what in the bidirectional or in a non-directional undirectional graph, there is no such particular thing. So you can move from one node to another as you want. Understanding it. Whereas in directed, if you have an edge or if you have an arrow mark with respect to the edge that has been given, that is a link that has been given to that particular node only you can reach. You cannot come back. That's what it says, right? So these are all the concepts that you need to. So what is in degree? In degree is from where that particular link has been left. Okay, that arrow mark when it is receiving, when it is at the receiver end, that is the other particular node, it will be pointing to. No, that's called as we call that as um, out degree. Understanding it? In degree going from that particular node, out degree coming from the neighboring node, whichever is connected to it. So this is how it will be available with respect to your path testing. So these are all the basic concepts of your graph theory which you need to know. Okay, keeping that all those particular things in our head, just move forward. Okay, so what do you mean by path testing? Path testing is one of the example, or it's a flavor that is coming under your structural testing method, which involves or which is very much interested with respect to your source code rather than the requirements, whatever it has been fed to the fed for developing that particular program. Understanding it, it's not bothered about the requirements. It's bothered about thinking that all the requirements has been fulfilled. How the program will be behaving, that is what we'll be just seeing it. For that, we require path testing. The idea is that the second statement. The idea is that are able to test each individual path from source node. That means how many such particular reachable nodes that I can have it in one particular notation. Suppose you have if else statement or something like that. So it can go around two ways. Either it can be true. If the true is that one particular area, it will take it. If it is false, other area, it will take it. That's how it will be just implemented too. So both are different path, will say it. Both are different areas where we can just walk through it, right? So the similar manner, it will be working. So here also, with respect to this, the idea behind this particular path testing is very simple. It will be just taking the each individual path from the source, making sure that all the particular nodes has been reached. Maximum coverage of each particular node will be reached. Depending on that, we'll just go with it. So what are all the things that we need to have? We use the knowledge of the source code to define the test case and to determine the to examine the outputs. That means we need to know the source code properly, which language that you have written. Depending on that, you need to know the source code, how it will be written, what it is. Each and every terminology is very important. Whether you have used var, whether you have used some other particular thing, what you have used, that is what will be just giving you. Understanding it. So you need to know that particular thing. Next thing is, once you have designed the test cases, you should have a set of input cases. How you will be deciding the input cases? It is based on whether the every statement, whatever is there. Suppose true comes, whether it is followed. False comes, whether it is followed. So like that, I'll be just taking at least one at a time during our test case, and I'll just go through it. So this is how it will be working with respect to your path testing. If you have any confusion, we'll just see it. Once we see it with respect to your diagrammatical representation, you'll come to know how that particular thing works. Okay. So right now, what you can take as path testing is a flavor of your structural testing or white box testing. So you need to be very good enough to understand what particular programming language is used to write the source code. Source code is very important. And how you will be designing? You will be designing the test cases based on all the particular maximum coverage of your particular statements will be done. So here in your path testing, the nodes are nothing but each statement. Each statement is referred to as each statement is referred to as nodes, and the control flow will be treated as yeah, edge. That's what it will be saying. So how the particular program graph or the flow graph is represented. Given a program written in an imperative programming language. Imperative programming language means very well-known programming language, whichever we know it. C, it can be C++, Java, C Sharp, .NET, or JavaScript, anything, whichever we know it, that is what, in the real world, it is existing. So that is what we call as imperative programming language, which we are all familiar with, and we know the respective things, how it will be functioning. So its program graph is a directed graph. We are talking about the directed graph. with respect to this, in which each nodes are statement fragments. That is the statements, whatever you write it. If you say scanf, that will be one particular statement. That will be treated as one node. If you say printf, that will be treated as one node. If you say some other particular thing like if statement or while statement, that will be treated as one node. So in this particular manner, it will be, you'll be having the understanding it. So this is nothing but your program graph. In that, nodes are treated as statement fragments and edges represent the flow of the control. That means, okay, from the first statement, where it should go? It should go to the second statement or third statement, or you have a label to this saying that go to that particular label, then it will be jumping it. So, or else you have a function declaration, it will be jumping your particular control to that particular statement. So that is nothing but your, that flow is nothing but your edges. And this flow graph or program graph can also be called as control flow graph also. So any particular terminology, if they use, there may be a question for you in the examination. Define flow graph or define program graph or define control program. For all these particular three terminologies, you need to write the same thing. Given a program written in an imperative programming language, its program graph or flow graph or control flow graph is a directed graph in which nodes represent statement fragments and edges represent flow of control. So how it is represented, we'll just see, we'll just take one example. See, they have given one particular flow chart, assuming that some particular statements has been given already. Okay, some statements are already presented. Based on that, they are given the flow chart of that particular program. So 0, once this is there is a decision that is true means it will enter to the next node. If it is false means it will go to the last particular statement that has been executed. Okay, if that is the case, it will go with the third statement. Here also decision is that whenever rhombus symbol is there, it is nothing but you are taking some decision over that. That's what it means. So the same thing will be applied here also. So this is a normal flow chart, how it will be represented. This is nothing but rectangular box is nothing but the statement. The rectangular box is nothing but the statements or the process control. Understand it? So that's how it will be just given it. So in the same manner, if you just represent it in the flow graph, your statements, whatever is there, everything will be treated as one node. Node will be represented by circle. A circle indicates it's a node. So each one, whatever the rhombus is there and whatever the square or the rectangle that you have just kept it, each one will be represented by the circle. And the control flow, this is a directed graph. That means there should be some particular direction flowing. So 0, after that it should go with 1. There is no possibility of coming back. 1 to 0 is not available. Undirected graph, if you are having it, means 0 to 1 also you can go, 1 to 0 also you can go. That is not allowed here. This is always a directed graph. So with respect to your path testing, you will always consider with respect to the simple directed graph itself. Understanding it? So direction is from 0 to 1 node, it will be just flowing. So here you may take n number of decisions. So it may be with respect to the normal node, normal statement, or it may be with respect to going in the normal flow. That is, one after the other statement can be executed. In whichever the manner that you have, each one will be represented by circle. And the link between these two particular nodes, the two neighboring nodes, will be taken care with respect to your directed edge. So this is nothing but your edge. So that's how you'll be representing your flow chart to flow graph. Okay. Second thing is, okay. Yeah, everything is one and the same. Only thing is that change has been taken care. So you see here, circle is nothing but representation of a node. So which stands for a sequence of one or more procedural statements. Understanding it? One or more procedural statements are nothing but 0 to 1. This is one procedural statement. After 0, next statement is executed. But there is always a possibility of going to execute the statement 2 or statement 11 based on the decision that you are making it. That we call it as predicate node. Predicate is nothing but where the condition will be verified. Understanding it? So see here, with respect to this particular flow graph, which is represented as if you are having a flow diagram or flow chart itself. So here one is taking the decision, right? So this decision, based on that only we can just go through it. So based on that, one will be always taking, it can go with the notation saying that after reaching 0 to 1, the next statement will be 11th statement can be executed. Or in case if the particular statement is validated properly, then it will be executing the second statement. Similarly, with respect to your sixth statement also. So sixth statement, what it says is, it will be just saying that there is some problem, or there is some particular decision to be made with respect to it. Now 6 and 1, according to our particular principle, it will be called as predicate. Predicate is nothing but decision, where it will be taking some decision, that is true or false type of thing will be executed. Or else you can say your switch cases, many cases may come. So if this is the one that I'm taking it, then what happens? Next one, next one, next one, like the case number, it will be decided. So whereas the arrow mark, that's what the edge or a link is, an arrow represented by flow of control in the specific direction. Specific direction, that's what they are saying here. So it is not that any direction you can just move it. See here, one example has been given, flow graph, how to write the flow graph. This is the pseudocode. This pseudocode is represented as to perform simple subtraction. That's it. A simple subtraction will be taken care with respect to it. Input x and y, that is read x and y with respect to it. Next, output the values separately. So second statement is, first statement is nothing but here, it will indicate what this particular program contains. That means it will be nothing but it's a comment line. Second statement is, or it may be a function call also, anything it can be. Second statement is you are inputting, that is reading some values. Third statement is output, that is writing that particular value. Whatever you have read it for x, it will be written. Whatever you have read it for y, it will be written. That's it. After doing that, I'm checking for the condition. If x is greater than y, then do this particular task. That is x minus y. X is greater than y, then x should be subtracted with y, and the value should be stored in z. Okay. Else, y should be subtracted with x. Value should be stored in z. Either of the case can execute. End of this particular if statement. Output the z, the whatever the value that you are having it with respect to that particular variable, you just output it and then say end of the program. That's it. Nothing else. So always you can start from 1, there is no problem, or else you can start with 2 also, because 2 is the one where our particular actual program flow continues. So based on that, 2 is the one particular thing. So once it is reached, the next statement is 3 followed by 4, right? So 2, 3, 4. It is a sequential order in the sequence. Next, once it reaches to the 5th statement, there is a 2 ways of prediction can be made. One is, if this is x is greater than y, then go with 6th statement execution. Once it is the 6th statement executed, then no need to execute the 7th statement. You can just go with the 8th statement. That is, if statement is done with its job. Understanding it? Either if will be executed or else will be executed. That's what it says. So either if is executed means then it will go to the end of the particular if, and output will be printed and end of the program will be reached. That's it. Or else it will be flipped. That means you can have another particular area also. If x is not greater than y, then it will choose the 7th statement execution. Once the 7th statement is executed, then it will go to the 8th statement, 9th statement, and 10th statement. What is the analysis that we need to make sure is, once we write the program, for each one of the program, whatever we write it, right from the beginning of the starting line till the end line, we need to address it with respect to numbering. This is the first step that we need to understand. After writing all these particular things, the first step is, after writing the program, you need to point or you need to provide the number for each statement. Whether it is while, whether it is do while, whether it is if, whether it is something else, whatever it may be. Each statement, one statement, if you are writing it, one line, if you are writing it, means for that particular line, what is the line number that should be written? Understanding it? That is the first step. After doing that, using that particular line number, that will be our nodes. So those particular things, I'm just representing it. So you need to record each one of the particular nodes first. Then worry about your control flow. Okay, 2, 3, 4. It is sequential. After 2, 3 statement will be. After inputting, after reading x and y, write the x value. That is statement 3. Statement 4 is y value should be written. Next, statement 5 is you're checking for the condition. Condition says x, whatever the x value that you have read, whatever the y value you have read, I'm just comparing it. So x greater than y, if that is the case, do this particular sixth one. That is, x should be subtracted with y and store the value in z. Come out of that particular if loop. Or else, if there is some problem with respect to this particular statement to be executed, that is, x is not at all greater than y. That means the other assumption, y should be greater than x, right? So y should be greater than x, then it should be going with the y minus x. What happens? Okay, one more particular thing I just wanted to share with you. Okay, x is greater than y, then it will be done. What about equal to y? Are you getting it? See, the statement it says is the statement that has been made here is, okay, if x is greater than y, x should be subtracted with y. Else that has been given, right? So my particular question here is, what about x equal to y? Which statement will be executed? Is it the sixth statement that will be executed, or seventh statement, or nothing will happen? In general, if you want to ask with respect to this particular terminology or this particular condition, whatever they have given it, ultimately x, whether it is anything apart from this particular condition, whatever it comes, it will be taken care with respect to your else statement. That is what it means. Whether it is equal to or less than, whatever it comes, everything will be handled with respect to this particular sentence. That is what it says. Understanding it. So this is how it will be working with respect to your programming language. This one you need to know it. So if you know about it, then you can write this particular graph. Understanding it. Then it will be having some meaning in it. Okay. So this is how you can just go with this particular conversion of your program into a program graph or the flow graph. Understood? Any doubt with respect to this? See here, each statement has been given. Understanding it. So after writing your program, the first step is you need to have the line number. If you have the line number, or if your indentation is proper, if you have the line number, then it is easy for us to identify. Otherwise, you say 2, I will be saying that is a third statement. So there will be a lot of confusion. Just to avoid it, once you write the program, you have one particular line number for that particular program. So that's why better to use Notepad++ or gedit with respect to the operating system that you have chosen. So where you will be getting that particular thing defaultly, you will become. There is nothing like that. You need to hide this. Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing is, okay, you said decision, right? Your predicate node can be a if else, as we have seen it, or else it maybe comes with respect to your switch case, or else with respect to your while loop, or else with respect to your until loop. Okay, so whichever the case it comes, how it will be executed. The example that we have seen in the previous particular program is with respect to your if else statement. The fifth statement was having if x greater than y. So that is what? Predicate. So two ways you can just handle it. Whereas with respect to your switch case, you will be having multiple case statements. Any one will be executed, but not all. Keep that in your head. Not all the statements can be executed with respect to switch. The difference between your switch statement and the if statement is both will be validating the condition, or both will be validating whether the value is present or true or false, whichever it may be. If that is the case, here in a one particular block itself, all the particular conditions will be, all the particular cases will be handled. Whereas here, separately, I need to handle it with respect to each time I need to execute it. Understanding it. If 6 is not that, then 7 statement, then once again I need to check for it. So then I need to just go with it. So here it is not the case. Here itself at the beginning in the switch case we'll be executing. We'll be just checking out. If that is true, with respect to it, which one is the node that has been available, depending on that, will be just working fine. Yeah, fine. So switch cases, multiple decisions can be made. Whereas while it will be, if this condition true, it will be continuing with respect to its particular next statements, and it will be just after reaching the last statement of your while, it will be again going and checking for the while condition. If the condition is true, once again the same steps. If the condition goes wrong or it is failed, then only your control will be coming out of that particular area. That's what we are saying. Next, it is until. So that means you have a statement one, you have statement two, followed by statement three. So if this particular statement, whatever your prediction or decision will be taken care with respect to the middle particular node. If you have one particular node, from this node, you'll be having a particular statement to be executed or will be taken care with respect to the decision. If this decision says yes, it will be executing the previous statement. If this decision says no, it will be executing with respect to the next statement. So until this becomes false, you're not coming out of this particular area. So you'll be having the loop itself. Understanding it? So until means whatever the decision that you have, if that particular decision is correct with respect to the previous execution of the statement, next statement, if it is executing with respect to that particular code, if that code executes or if the condition holds good, then it will execute the previous one. Understanding it? It will execute the previous statement, whatever is that. So if that is our previous or the statement where it has been started from. Okay, so it can go with that particular go to. That is what you can just have it until instead of it go to, you can have it. So once the go to is there at that particular time, yeah. Once the go to statement is there at that particular time, what it will be done is, so if it is reachable to your previously available statements, it will just once it is true, it will available with respect to the previously available statements. Otherwise, if it is false means, then only it will come out of that particular statement. Otherwise, it will be a loop, never ending loop. That is until loop. So like this, many decisions you can just take it. Okay. So the next one is with respect to the junction. What do you mean by a junction? Suppose you will be having, after predicting, after making the node as a prediction node, that is either say this particular thing can happen or that can happen or many other particular cases you will be considering it. Once that is the case, the next thing is where it should go. Okay, your statement 6 is executed means where it should go. If your statement 7 is executed means where it should go. It should go with respect to your one more statement, which is common for these two particular statements. Anyone is executed, it should come with respect to this particular thing. We call that as a junction point. Understanding it? We call that as a junction point, or else it's also called as connector. Okay. The next one is flow graph with respect to this. Flow graph consists of whatever the things. Next one is process block. What is this process block? Process block is all about how this particular, apart from your junction, apart from your predicate, whatever the rest of the nodes is there, that is nothing but your process block. That is your sequential flow. So your 2, 3, 4. After this, you have a predicate node, that is 5. Once that is executed, it will either go with 6 with respect to that, then it will reach the junction node, that is 8. After that, 9 and 10. Apart from 5 and 8, predicate node and junction node, remaining all nodes are treated as where the straight line will be, straight line code, you'll be just getting it. That is nothing but your sequence or your process block. Okay, so we'll just check it out with respect to the next statement. Yeah. There is one particular program written for you in C, probably because it is having scanf and printf. So that's why I just told you that it will be written in C language. So first statement is scanf. That is, you are inputting the value. After inputting x and y, we are checking for one condition. If y is less than 0, then power is equal to minus 1. That means I'm making that whatever the y is there, minus of that will be nothing but your power. Else, power is equal to exactly equal to 1. This is how it will be working. Fine. So z will be equal to, first time I'm assigning some value, that is 1.0. This is the next statement. If y is less than 0, power, whatever the power variable that you are having it, that will be equal to minus 1. Else, power variable will be holding the value as y itself directly. While power not equal to 0, that means it has some value other than 0, then z is equal to z into x. Anything it can be. Don't worry about the logic behind it. Worry about only one thing, that is nothing but how it will be executed. Okay, so z is equal to z into x. Fine. So this is how it will be just generating the power of that particular variable. Next is power is equal to, I'm just making that particular power is equal to power minus 1. Whatever the value is there with respect to power minus 1, that will be the thing. So this will be continuing with respect to our loop. This is while loop. So once it is done, once the power is becomes equal to 0, it fails, it will be coming out. If y is less than 0, then z is equal to 1.0 divided by z. Print the value of z. That's it. This is what they have just given. So looking into this, they have written the flow graph. First statement, after that second statement need to be executed. Second statement is a predicate statement, so that's why it can take either the root of 3, going to execute 3 statement, and then go with the junction node, that is nothing but your fifth statement. Junction node is where it will be connected with respect to your predicate that you are making with it. That means 3 or 4, whichever is executed, it will be just reaching to your fifth statement. This is what it is. Understanding it? So once this is done with respect to the fifth statement is executed, it will take to the next statement. Next statement is while loop. Sixth statement will be executed. Sixth statement, while condition will be checked. If the condition holds good, then it will be going to execute the seventh, followed by the eighth statement. Once it is executing after executing the eighth statement, the control will be given back to your sixth statement. Once this is done, the next direction it will be moving. If the particular power is still not equal to 0, the same thing continues. Otherwise, if it fails, it will come out of that particular sixth node. It will enter to the next immediate. After while loop, which node is there? After executing the ninth node, it will be coming. With respect to your ninth node, there are two particular things. Once again, it's a predicate statement. If this is true, then it will execute y. Otherwise, it will execute z. Otherwise, it will just print the value of z. So 9, if it is true, it will just go with 10th statement, then it will come back to the 11th statement. Otherwise, the 9th statement directly it will just point to it will execute the 11th statement. This is how the program graph is all about. This is just to analyze, looking into the program, how we can convert it into a graphical representation. Okay, stay online. My meeting is getting over by 3 minutes. I'll just reconnect you with respect to one more meeting. Still long way to go. So, okay, so stay online. I'll just reassume the meeting. Okay, I'm just ending this meeting. I'm just connecting with the one more meeting ID. Okay, thank you.